Hello, my juniors. Welcome to another anatomy lecture series. So, great science to Lorenzo, and in this video, we'll be talking about the muscles of the posterior compartment of the thigh. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on your post notification button so that anytime I drop any video, you'll be sure to be notified. So, let us jump right into the video. Today, we are talking about the muscles of the posterior compartment of the thigh. It's very easy. In the last video, we talked about the muscles of the anterior compartment of the thigh. So, for the muscles of the posterior compartment of the thigh, just as opposing to the anterior compartment, because the anterior compartment helps in what flexion of the hip and extension of the knee. But if you switch it around, the posterior compartment of the thigh achieve flexor of the knee joint and weak extension of the hip joint. So they flex the knee and extend the knee in opposed to the muscles of the anterior compartment of the thigh. And if you want to remember, then you remember BISS, like BIS, because the ischial part of the adductor magnus also is added to it. So naturally it is BSS, which is the bicep femoris. You have the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus. So these three muscles are the chief muscles of the posterior compartment of the thigh. But we also add the ischial part of the adductor magnus. So basically, we also know that they are also called the hamstring muscle. They are also called the hamstring muscle. Why are they called the hamstring muscle? Because they are very important in running, standing, and doing a lot of things. So because it was seen that our standing upright, the gluteus maximus also assists with the hamstring muscle in order for us to stand upright and also walk. So that's why they call them the hamstring muscle. And also they are supplied by the tibia part of the sciatic nerve. The tibia part of the sciatic nerve, except from the short head. The short head is supplied by the common peroneal nerve, which we'll be talking about. So since we know basically, so you go to the chief muscle, which is your gag patapata, which is the bicep femoris. So what is the bicep femoris? It's like we say the bicep, two head. You have the long head and the short head. So like we all know why they call them the hamstring muscle. They are originating from one part, all of them, which is the ischial tuberosity. The ischial tuberosity. So the long head of the bicep femoris is from the ischial tuberosity, while the short head of the bicep femoris is basically from the lower part of the lateral lip of the linear spiral, and also the upper two-thirds of the lateral supracondylar line or ridge. So very simple. So the bicep femoris has two heads. The first head, which is the long head, is coming from the ischial tuberosity, which is the hamstring origin, while the short head is coming from the lower aspect of the lateral lip of the linear spiral, and also the upper two-thirds of the lateral supracondylar line. So when they come together, they insert on the head of the fibula. They insert on the head of the fibula. And what is the action? Like we all say, they flex the knee joint and they extend the weak flexor of the hip joint. So like we say, they have the two heads are supplied by two different things. Basically, all hamstring muscle are supplied by tibia part of the sciatic nerve, but the short head of the bicep femoris is supplied by the common peroneal part of the sciatic nerve. So finish. So don't forget about the bicep femoris. So the next one is semitendinosus. Why did they call them semitendinosus? They have their lower part. Some part is half tendinous. That's why they are called semitendinosus, half tendinous, and it's originating from the same place where the long head of the bicep femoris originated, which is the ischial tuberosity. That's why it's called the hamstring muscle, and they are inserted on the deep to the medial aspect of the tibia, just like the pes acerinus muscle, SGS. So the first outside is the sartorius muscle, followed by the gracialis in the middle, and the one at the back, deep to all of them, is the semitendinosus. So very easy. So they are supplied by the tibia part of the sciatic nerve. So the last person here, okay, the second to the last is the semimembranosus, which means half membranous. So it's very easy. So now what is the origin? It's originating from the same place, which is the ischial tuberosity. Originating from the ischial tuberosity, and inserting where? It's inserting at the back, at the posterior aspect of the medial condyle. The posterior aspect of the medial condyle of the tibia. The medial condyle of the tibia. So it does the same thing too. All of them do the same thing, which is flexion flexure of the knee joint, weak extensor of the what, hip joint. And last but not the least, which is the ischia part of the adductor magnus. It also originated from the same origin, which is the ischia tuberosity, and it's inserting where it's inserting on the adductor what, tubercle, on the adductor tubercle, because the adductor magnus has two parts. You have the adductor part and you have the adductor part, and you have the hamstring part. So you have the adductor part, you also have the hamstring part. So very, very easy. So it does the same work, the same function, which is flexure of the hip joint, so flexure of the knee joint and extension of the what, weak extension of the hip joint. So it's very, very simple. We now know that all the muscles in the posterior aspect of the thigh are called the hamstring muscle. Very important. So also, what is the clinical correlation to the, why did they call them the hamstring? Remember also, during the old days and up to now, those that fight wars, what do? If they want to bring the riders of the horse down and to make the horse stop, what do? They simply do, they just hit the back of the knee of the horse. This weakens the horse, and the horse will not be able to walk again, so he will just fall down. And also, soldiers, is a word of soldiers is sometimes they remove the hamstring of soldiers so that they cannot even move, they cannot stand, because the gluteus maximus cannot only keep the thigh upright, or the lower limb upright. So you need the assistance of the muscles of the posterior, which is the hamstring muscle, for you to stand upright and walk. So if you remove your hamstring muscle, you prevent walking and you prevent standing upright. So I hope it all made sense to you and you understand everything I've just explained. BISS, don't forget the bicep femoris, you have the eye, which is the ischia part of the adductor magnus, you have the semimembranosus and the semitendinosus. And I said the semitendinosus is part of the pes muscle, SGS, mnemonic for it, SGS. So now hope if you are joining us new, make sure to subscribe and turn on the post notification button, so that anytime I drop any video, you're sure to be notified. And if you want me to make any video for you, just write it down in the comment section, and I promise to make that video for you. So we'll be moving on to the next part, which is the muscles of the medial compartment of the thigh. Bye bye.